what I was talking about was the mount on the bike, which is the triangular plate that comes with. I should just start completely. For those who've asked, this is the triangular mounting plate that comes with the Specialized pizza rack. I happen to be lucky in that a few years earlier I had bought this rigid fork to replace the suspension fork that was originally on the bike. This particular fork is made by Salza. It's a Salza Chromoly. I think it may have been the fork for the the Salza Fargo. I think it was at that time, but I could be wrong about that. But the fork has mounting point, high, mid, and low mounting points. The mounting point on the outside, there are numerous mounting points on this particular fork, but the mounting point on the outside of the fork is happened to be exactly in the right place for mounting the pizza rack with this triangular mounting bracket. To my surprise, nothing else was actually needed. It worked just like that. I had to play around with it for about an hour or so. At the time I did it next to a farm field just outside of Oldenburg, Germany. I had bought the rack in Oldenburg from Buell Bicycle, which is the Specialized dealer there. But as you can see, there are many different holes, and with the 3 screws you just have to play around to find the angle that works for you. There is no diagram or anything because nobody knows what you're going to be mounting to what, where. So as I say, for me it was extremely lucky that it worked, and I did not even have to use the bracket that is at the top and goes to the top of the fork. It just wasn't the right size. It didn't fit. Someone in another shop in I forgot whether it was in Cambodia or in Thailand actually did make the bracket work for me, but then it put the rack at the wrong angle for me. It brought it too far from the tire and at the wrong angle. I wanted it to be flat and close to the tire, so I just as I said before, I just fidgeted around and made the bottom one work. And at some point I guess I'll get another bracket made that goes from the top of the rack to this connection point here on the bicycle, on the fork, but it really hasn't mattered. I guess one of the reasons might be that it hasn't mattered is that I don't really intend to put any really heavy weight on this front rack. I'm thinking actually of getting the Ortlieb gravel bags to put up front, but still then I wouldn't even put that much in it, in sort of a bike packing more idea. And what I have right now is a bag that really needs to be thrown out and replaced. Unfortunately, I can't find another one that is this size. This bag happens to fit a camera bag I have perfectly inside this bag, and it's just the right size. It works from my handlebars down to the rack. How can I say it? It just works. But the way I have it attached is with some carabiners that are zip tied to the handlebars, And then of course my handlebars aren't exactly standard configuration either. These are upside down mounted trekking bars that are tilted down in the front. It happens to really work well for me. I should see if I can demonstrate that. I've tried to explain it to people, but it's a little difficult for people to understand. If you look at my wrist here, when I extend myself out from the handlebar to the front, it's straight, and I don't have my my wrist turned. It's just straight forward, and that works. That way I don't have any pain. I had a problem before when the trekking bar was higher in the front than in the back, that I caused myself some real pain in my wrist. But the way it is now, if I do go this way, you know, there's no problem because it's straight and it's supported. My wrist is actually, or the arm is actually supported back here. Now the wrap on the handlebar is actually a double wrap, and it looks funny because I applied it when it was when the bar was you know, attached in the normal manner, but when I flipped it over, then it looks like a funny wrap. This particular grip here is one that just a couple of weeks ago I found in a shop in Vientiane, Laos, and I actually took the grip apart and threw away the inside and the lock part that came with it, and just used only the foam, which was a little bit bigger than the aluminum of the handlebar below, but I wrapped tape around that a couple of times until it was the right size, and now it's really comfortable, at least for me. And that mount there is from some grips from 5-6 years ago, that just keeps working, you know. That's and it happens to be that having both ends next to the gear shifter just also again really works for me, so that I don't jam my fingers in any way and such. The positioning of all of these devices, you know, using a Velcro strip here that's actually meant to mount a GoPro mount to the handlebar. I mean, that just keeps the tape here, which is electrical tape, from unwrapping all the time. And because at this corner here, my hand is constantly brushing against it, so I always have a problem here. So at the moment, this seems to be working really well. The electrical tape, I don't like to use too much of it, but in the bend here, I've always needed it. But this is high temperature 3M Minnesota Mining Mineral tape, and it works better than others. But if I have used too much of it and my hands are on top of it, it will, well, in the hot countries that I'm in here, in Cambodia and Laos and Thailand, it will become unglued and pretty messy pretty quick. But by using this Velcro here, I'm, you know, it's working for me. This particular rear view mirror here is actually a very cheap mirror that I found in a sort of a country, Southeast Asia country, or little how do you call it? It's like a dollar store, like a discount store. And this was made to use on a motorcycle, but I cut there was a plastic and wire type of attachment, and I basically cut it down to almost nothing and into the mount there, and then have it taped in place, and it works for me. I mean, Southeast Asia is pretty dangerous with all the motorcycles and stuff that are just don't care whether you're in their way or not, you know. So you have to see what's behind you, and constantly turning around doesn't really work well. Same thing here on the other side, but I don't have a mirror there because right now I'm in a country where I ride on the right-hand side of the road, and I always stay towards the side. So I just need to see what's coming behind me, what's passing me. It doesn't always work. I mean, people will pass you from all directions, but it takes care of 90% of the problem. You know, cars and motorcycles and everything coming at you. So, all right. Let me see what else is new here. Oh, this particular feed bag attachment here is new. I bought it. I mean, it's made for a bicycle to put a drink bottle or whatever in there, right? So, and it surprisingly works really, really well. This was the only one, and I got it at a good price because it had been in the what's called the Walkman store here in Sierra Marie for several years, with nobody wanting to buy it because it was too expensive. I don't remember anymore what I paid, but I tried to get a second one, but no, that was it. This was the only one that they ever had, right? And the bag here, as I said, this bag is in bad shape by now. I can't find one that is the same size so that I can mount it here. You know, I've got carabiners with zip ties here on both sides, and the bag sits on the rack and then goes all the way up, and my favorite camera bag fits in there. So I need to find something the same size, but nobody has it, so I don't know if it's that visible here in the video, but the bag is very faded out from the sunlight, right? Let's see what else is new here. No, none of these. You know, the pump is I've been using it for many years, ever since I got the bike, actually. So the pump is 9 years old. Also, this particular bottle mount here is also that old. It's a really it's actually a Bontrager mount. Let's see, people have been asking me about all the components right now, why I've switched them around and such. There are a couple of reasons. One, when I bought the bike, I wasn't really happy with the level of the components, but in order to buy the bike at under $1,000, I had to be happy with that. I wanted this particular black color. I actually had to special order it and wait close to a month to get the bike in late summer of 2011. It's a 2012 model. The next level up was quite expensive, and it had components that I didn't really want. I really like, as the starting point, the straight Shimano Deore components, which are very similar between mountain bike and touring bike, but Shimano Europe does always have a trekking bike series, which sometimes makes it to other parts of the world, sometimes doesn't. So there are some parts here that are actually the European trekking bike components, like this crank here. It's actually a 10-speed crank where I've got a 9-speed, 3x 9-speed system, but that's never been a problem. As a matter of fact, on the crank, the only thing that I had to replace was the 36 ring, because I don't know, just after a number of years it wore out, and it was slipping, so I replaced that ring with no problems, and the large ring is 48, so 48, 36, 26. The 48 and the 26 are the original from this particular crank. Although there was another less expensive crank, I forgot what brand name, but maybe Suntour or something. I forgot. But at a, I just slowly, as I traveled and found the components in different places, I would just upgrade it. So the one that was really giving me a lot of trouble was the original shifters. They were very, very hard to manipulate, to shift. Right? It was painful actually to shift them. So going up to the straight day array, Shimano day array, I was just shocked at how much smoother they are. And at that time I was told that there's not that much point in going up to the to another higher level, although I'm now debating that and thinking that I might still do that. But what I'm actually thinking of doing next is going to a 2x10 or 2x11 system, because the biggest problem with the bike when you're touring in the drivetrain is actually the front derailleur. The front derailleur, it doesn't seem to matter, and that is also the second one. That is the straight day array one right there. The front derailleur doesn't seem to matter what you use; it's still going to be a problem. And where I always end up having a problem is like in having the chain refuse to move from one chain ring to another, is when I'm going uphill and there's a dog chasing me, So that to me, it's a real pain. I just don't like it. On the rear derailleur, I have really basically had zero problems. That didn't really need to be changed, but I did change it because I just like the idea of having 100% day array. Because I was born in Germany and I'm actually German, but American citizen, I have always kept up with with what's going on in the German bicycling scene, and I have bicycled there, toured there too. And basically, German bicycle manufacturers will take an order from you and give you whatever you want on the bike. And getting a 100% day array or day array XT or whatever system on the bike is like a normal thing to do. And then they take like from 2 weeks to a month to prepare it and then send it to you from the factory that way, or to your local dealer. But in America, they have this strange kind of a system, or maybe it's in most of the world, where they actually mix and match different components. They'll have day array there, and you know what I'm saying. They're even from different manufacturers, and they just say, oh, it's all the same, But really, what they're doing is they're shopping around for inexpensive parts that they can put in there, and have like one expensive part, and then the other parts being inexpensive component. So even if I buy another bike in America that again has this kind of crazy matched up drivetrain components, I will do the same thing again. I will get Shimano day array and up, the higher levels of the day array, because it just I prefer it that way. But here on the rear derailleur, no problems at all. I did change it once or twice, I think, just because it just didn't look good anymore. I mean, look at this one now. I mean, it's looking pretty filthy and all that. it might make me feel better to upgrade it before there is a problem. Right? But basically, no big problem. So all of this is 3 times 9, except for the crank here, which is actually a 3 times 10 system, Shimano DRA. But really no particular problem. I don't think that that's what has caused the derailleur itself causes everybody problems on the road. Right? It's just it gets filthy, it gets dirty, it gets slightly out of alignment, and all of a sudden you're going up a hill, and you can't shift from one chainring to another. What I'm thinking is that the next upgrade is going to be probably to 2 times. I'm even debating whether to go to 1 time, but I think 2 times. 2 times 10, 2 times 11. And I think I've basically sort of covered the questions that were asked. My seat, maybe don't really look at it. I need to replace the seat, but I can't find a replacement for it where I am here, so I keep taping it, but the tape keeps coming off and I'm having to put it back on again. I really like this seat. It's basically a mountain biking seat. Don't know why, but that seat, it's a Velo, not very expensive, but out of like 4 different seats I've had in the last 8 years or so, this one is by far the best. I don't have any pain or anything, but I guess it takes experience and years to do this kind of stuff, but I'd like to find the same seat again, or something similar in design to this seat. Actually similar in design and maybe a little bit higher quality would be okay with me. Also, this bag, love this bag. It's actually fantastic. It's a Schwalbe what is it? I'll check the name later. But the problem with it right now is it again needs to be replaced. It is getting really faded out. I usually put the cover on it just because, not for rain so much as for the damage from the sun. But my big problem now is that the zipper doesn't work properly anymore. It stopped working one direction. See right there, it's supposed to be closed, but it doesn't. It comes loose, and that is a little disappointing because these are not that inexpensive. It's also a water bag, but where did I buy? I bought this one in Germany, which would have been in about this time of year, actually in October, in 2017. So 3 years. Maybe you have to replace these every 3 years. But now I see that there are some bags that are actually built waterproof and all that, so I'll check on it. But I have to confess that I've had 1, 2, 3, I think this is the 3rd rear bag I've had over the last 8, 9 years, so that's not bad actually, and I do use them quite a lot. But to have the zipper fail like this is, I have to say, it's disappointing, so be careful of that. And I'm sure I've forgotten something, but we'll just leave it at that for now, you know. So update on repairs and generally how can I say, general upkeep of the bike while you're touring. These tires, Schwalbe Marathon Mondial, I've actually had those since 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, Jesus. I can't believe that I've had those tires for 9 years, you know, so 14, for 6 years, 6 years. Yeah, not 9 years, 9 years the whole bike, but yeah, they are incredible. I'd still gladly replace them anytime I can, but they are still fine. I've had 2 flat tires, you know, traveling in 3 continents. I've had 2 flat tires in the last 7-8 years. Okay. All right. So over and out. I will